Happy day 3. Can you already believe it? We're on day 3. Today we are going to talk about the power of prep. You've already learned about the power of your purpose, the power of a plan, and today is the power of prep. I call it the power of because you know who has that power? You. And I want you to realize that this week. You have the power to do all those things that you set forth in your goals on day 1. You have the power to reconnect with your family. You have the power to teach your kids about healthy eating. You have the power to sit down at the table with your family. You have the power to fuel your body so that you feel strong and that your kids see that as an example. You have the power to eliminate the stress out of meal planning and prepping. And I hope that's what you are realizing this week. Again, let's make prepping fun. So I put on a fun apron. If you don't have a fun apron, go buy one. There's lots of fun ones out there. So get an apron, put it on, and let's start to have fun about prepping. Now I want to change your mindset around prepping. Because again, the word prepping can be a little bit overwhelming. I like to talk about meal planning and prepping hand in hand. To me, it's like peanut butter and jelly. They just go together. So meal prepping does not mean setting aside a whole Sunday afternoon to prep everything perfectly so that you have it in little containers all ready to go during the week. Is that realistic for busy moms? Probably not. So when you're looking at that plan that you made yesterday, I want you to make a plan for your prep. And the biggest thing is let's make it realistic, depending on your schedule that week, which changes week to week, you know. And that's why I want to enable you and empower you to make your own plan, your own prepping plan, so that going forward you can do that. Because how you plan and prep and your dinners and your schedule is going to be different than mine, then different than your sister's, different than your mom's. All right, so let's get into it. The first part is having a well-stocked kitchen of prep, right? You don't have to prep everything from scratch, but having some containers and having some things in your pantry, fridge, or freezer are super, super helpful. I am going to show you some of my favorite containers and some of the food items I use for meal prep. Again, these are things that I already buy at the grocery store that I have on hand. I also include in the essential guides an Amazon list to all of my favorite kitchen finds. So I love these Pyrex glass containers. These are great. Now these are great for leftovers. It's great for portioning out leftovers because one of the greatest keys of success of meal planning and prepping is making leftovers and eating leftovers. So these are great and they can go in the oven. I also love these plastic containers. You can use those for all different things, yogurt parfaits. You can use those for overnight oats. Same with these pretty glass containers. All of this stuff is on Amazon. I love this salad bowl as well. And some of these things can be great if you have to have a dinner on the go with your family, with yourself. This is made by Swell, so it stays cool. And I love that it has a container for the dressing. And then I love portioned out containers. These are great, especially if you're gonna be on the go or if you have a girls' night and you wanna leave dinner for your family. So going through your containers is really key. This is also one of my favorite things if you haven't seen me use it. When you are meal prepping, if you want to put a bag in here and then you can fill it with a marinade while you are doing different marinades. So this is a great little tool too. It's one of my favorites. Now some of the food items that I like to always have on hand and use for prepping my meals are things like, these are straight out of my freezer. I did not buy anything extra special. I just went through what I had. So this is really what I use. I have some frozen rice, which is always great. I always have pasta. I love getting pre-cut fruits and vegetables when I can. And especially because I don't like to chop, even though I do have a favorite chopper, but especially things like onions. This is a mirepoix, so it has celery and it has carrots in it too, and I will use this for soups and stews, but there is one that's just onions. So they're frozen and they last a long time. Frozen garlic I also love. This one has no preservatives. The one in the jars do. So having that saves you time for prepping and for chopping garlic. Pre-made lentils. Trader Joe's has so many pre-made foods that are really great. A lot of good salad mixes and pre-cut fruits and vegetables. Frozen chicken tenders. Those are always great to have. Waffle fries. I love this brand, Alexia. Kevin's meals are great. They have steak and chicken, and they're super easy to put together. You could jazz it up with some extra vegetables too. Salad mixes, this is an easy coleslaw one, but there are a ton of salad mixes out there. Pre-cut vegetables such as broccoli, and I love Brussels sprouts, are always great to have. One thing that you can also do, which is an easy meal prep tip, is have different sauces on hand, right? Something that you can throw into the crock pot really easy, something like a barbecue sauce, a clean barbecue sauce, or if you want to marinate meats, you can use Primal Kitchen or Tessemae's, has great dressings and marinades that you can use for meal prep. Here are some additional tips today when you're looking at your plan that you made yesterday. You are going to make a plan for your prep as well. I'm a huge fan of having a plan. And guess what? Like I said yesterday, sometimes things change, sometimes you have to pivot, and that's okay too. But going into the day, going into a week with a plan of what you're gonna cook and how you are going to prep it is going to save you time and stress. I promise you that. If you know what you're doing, then you will not worry about it. You won't be answering the question of what's for dinner. So in terms of actually when you are going to prep things, my biggest tip is be realistic. Again, yesterday I said look at your schedule. Look at the recipe and determine how much time you have to prep. Answer these questions about each recipe, which are in your essential guide as well. What can you prep? What do you already have prepped? Like, what do you have in your house, in your fridge, pantry, or freezer? Or what can you already buy prepped? Those things are gonna save you time when you're looking at each recipe. And maybe sometimes when you're looking at the recipe and your calendar, it doesn't totally match up. So you may have to adjust your plan a little bit. That's why you wanna look at your meal plan and your week holistically to make sure it's realistic so that you're not getting to Tuesday when everyone is running in 5 different directions and you decided to make something that takes 4 hours to make. I don't want that to happen to you. So in your guidebook, you are going to see that. You're going to look at each recipe that you picked out yesterday and answer those questions. You are also going to look and see how much cook time does each recipe has. That's part of the prep too. Is it a slow cooker? Is it an oven? What can you prep, as I said, in advance? What protein does that recipe involve? Is it something that you already have, or is it something that you can take out of your freezer and thaw? Because most things in your freezer take to thaw about 2 days. You can do it some things with hot water, but if you have that in your mindset, if you are pre-marinating meats with some marinade, it's gonna take about 2 days. So having a plan of what you are going to prep and have for dinner is going to be really, really key. Now, part of the prepping process, in my mind, is grocery shopping. So today you have all those things you're gonna think about, little recipes, you're gonna put your prep plan in, but you're also going to decide, when am I gonna grocery shop? Am I going to have it delivered this week? Am I gonna go to the grocery store? So I want you to think about that. Think about how often you go to the grocery store, have your groceries delivered. What is gonna work for you and your family? Okay, so now to the nitty-gritty of prepping with a few tips. One thing, if you don't have time to do anything to prep for the week, and this is on a Sunday, just wash your fruits and vegetables and have them cut up. Because I know sometimes my kids don't like cooked broccoli or cooked green beans, but I always have some fruit or veggies in the fridge for them to have. They're also great on the go. So when you are actually doing your cooking and having those vegetables ready to go in the fridge, because we know that our kids are always saying they're hungry, especially because I have 3 hungry boys. And for you to nibble on if you wanna get some fruits or vegetables. So that's the thing. If you have time after that, then you hear batch cook a protein. My family, as we said, have a grill night every Sunday. So batch cooking protein can just mean putting some extra burgers or some marinated chicken on the grill. That can be protein. It doesn't have to be some complicated process. Keep it simple. So if you can have some extra protein that you can use different ways, such as a grilled chicken, a shredded chicken, shredded carnitas, ground beef, any of those things that you can use in different meals, that's gonna help you in your meal prep. Don't forget to use as part of meal prep. You can use your Instapot, use your slow cooker, have those things do the work for you. And one of the best tips, when I heard this, I thought it was genius, is you can put the ingredients in the slow cooker in the Instapot the night before. Put it in the fridge, set it out, and then just put it in the Instapot or the slow cooker. That is perfect prep. That is like dump and go. That is so, so good. As I've said, buy pre-cut fruits and vegetables. I encourage you to go to your grocery store and see what they have. Unless you go and see, sometimes when I'm doing delivery, I don't see everything that they have. And I convince myself it saves me money. But go take a moment, take a half an hour to go to your grocery store and see what they have. There's a lot of new stuff always coming out. There's a lot of pre-cooked proteins. Buying a rotisserie chicken is a great way to meal prep too. You can use that in so many ways if you don't want to make a shredded chicken in the crock pot. So again, the Kevin's meals, there's lots of things. I was recently at Target and they have a ton of options as well. One thing I also view as prepping is when you are making something, double it, right? You can double that recipe that you can use later so you can reuse that meal. Or if you're making something like a casserole or you're marinating some meats, double, triple, quadruple it. That way, when you go to shop in your fridge, pantry, freezer, you will already have that. If you're already gonna take the time to make a half an hour casserole of a mac and cheese, why not make two? So you can pull that out on a busy night. That is all part of prepping. It's all about thinking ahead. Now you may not know your schedule in a month, but maybe you do, and you know that you're gonna have a really busy week and you're gonna need some things, some homemade things that's gonna make you feel really proud of what you're serving your family, and you're gonna have that already to go chili, which will make you feel really, really good, and you can use that in different ways. The last thing in your essential guide is, this is a bonus, is taking the time to write down 5 go-to meals, right? And the reason why that is also part of prep, because like I said, not everything goes smoothly all the time. And sometimes you're gonna have to pivot and have a meal that you didn't plan or you didn't prep. So in my mind, having these go-to meals is about prep because you are ready if something else happens. So if you just write down 5 go-to meals that you know that everyone in your family eats, these can be simple. These are simple and they should be simple. So when you're thinking about prepping, I hope your mindset changes around being prepared for what your meal plan is that week and also making it realistic. Remember, this is a journey. If you are new to meal prepping and planning, maybe you picked a recipe that won't work on a certain day, and that's okay. It's trial and error, okay? So be kind to yourself, have fun, get an apron, and text me all your questions. And don't forget to text me the pink emoji. I cannot wait to hear from you.